you talked about your work with regional security and terrorism. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about that, because for me, I'm Nigerian, and for me, Nigeria is in Nigeria today, people are afraid to travel on the motorway across states. Now, some months ago, that train that was that train attack.
Yeah,
there was
hijack. Yeah,
there was a family, a friend who was there, and she was kidnapped and held for over 3 months. She just came. She just got released a month ago. Okay, so these things are incredible, because 10 years ago, when I was in Nigeria, I could travel anywhere. I could just finish work today and I say, oh, I want to be in Benin, and I'll just take my car, travel. Now, people in Nigeria can't do it. People in Nigeria can't do it. I don't know how the rest of the countries are, but in Nigeria, people are afraid to travel. So tell me, what is the state of security and
so sad.
Yeah,
I'm so sad. The mention of a family friend going through that.
Well, she has been released. Thank God.
Yeah, but she's going to live with it forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Live with it forever. It's a bad experience.
Yeah.
As a security person, I look at the human and the psychological impact of security. Sometimes the fact that it ended well by she getting released is relieving enough, but she is going to live. In fact, anytime she sees anybody behind her,
yeah, she's afraid.
Yes, and that is bad enough. Terrorism in West Africa. It is a very major topic currently.
Was the motive?
Yes, that's what I'm going to look at. That's what I'm going to talk about. I already have a peer-reviewed paper on it, Understanding Terrorism in Africa.
Okay.
It is on my LinkedIn wall. Fidel Amakye Owusu, when you go there, it's there.
Okay, I will take it.
Yes, I published it in Austria. There's a defense journal in Austria that saw it and they liked it and published it. And I think it has received very positive reviews.
Okay, that's good.
One thing is this: when it comes to terrorism, I think that first of all, I'll start with this: our security people in West Africa do not understand it. One, we must categorize the kind of terrorism happening in West Africa.
Okay.
What happened to your friend is banditry.
Okay.
Banditry.
Okay.
These are not the kind of international terrorism that Bin Laden started. What Boko Haram is doing is a homegrown terrorism, homegrown terrorism.
Okay.
And that is also different from what Bin Laden did.
Okay.
Just that this time around, they are collaborating with the people of Bin Laden's kind. What happened? How did we get Boko Haram? Boko Haram had started as a vigilante group. And in these vigilante groups, it is more or less part of Islamic life, where the state is not present. People come together, try to form some groups to patrol or to, guard the town. Abdullah Yusuf, who was summarily assassinated or killed after he was arrested, his group was arrested in northern Nigeria. When he was summarily killed, is what gave birth to Boko Haram. So in the case of Boko Haram, Nigerian government had a role to play in giving birth to it, or it being coming about. Because you don't, no matter who the person is, you don't arrest the person and kill him summarily. The police do that.
Yeah.
So the person who did that actually helped them for the group to radicalize.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, those of us Christians look at Muslims as people who are just radical. And that is one thing. Now we must separate Islamic conservatism from Islamic radicalism.
Okay.
We must separate Islamic conservatism from Islamic radicalism. It is conservative to insist that somebody should wear hijab. The ladies should wear hijab. It is conservative.
Yeah.
But it is radical when you say that same person should blow himself up in a conflict.
Okay.
Many a times, our security forces see someone preaching that or insisting on the hijab, and the person is labeled a terrorist. What does it do? It pushes the person to become more radical.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you are not trying to allow the person to practice what he believes. So as Christian, I do a lot of dispassionate discussions and writings. If you're a security expert, you can't have, I'm a Christian, you're Muslim. So no, we don't do that. You look at it objectively. Now, if you come to the rest of West Africa, the Bin Laden kind of group are now awashed in many places in West Africa.
Wow.
They are in Burkina Faso, they are in Mali, they are in Niger.
Wow.
And Niger is a northern neighbor of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Which means that these groups are increasingly coming together with Boko Haram. That has a different objective.
Yeah.
Now, even apart from the Bin Laden group, we still have the ISIS kind of terrorists there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do these people want? These people want territories. Bin Laden never wanted any territory.
Yeah.
The ISIS wants territory.
Yeah.
ISIS wants to establish Islamic states in the Sahel.
Now, what they were not able to do in the Middle East. Yeah.
In the Middle East, they are good. So they are now in the Sahel trying to establish an Islamic state. Within sovereign states, this is what they want. And that is non-negotiable. There's no way they're going to back down on that.
Ha ha ha.
And if we are able to decipher, know the differences in these groups, we will find different solutions to them.
Yeah.
Boko Haram is amenable to change. And I say so. This is very controversial, but I say it.
Okay.
Because what I've realized about Boko Haram is that the problem with Boko Haram started in 1903.
Okay.
And in 1903 is when northern Nigeria was added to the rest of Nigeria. Now, Osman Danfodio, that you know very well of your history, started conquering in 1901 the northern part of Nigeria. What was his mission? His mission was to spread puritanical Islam. Yeah. Pure kind of Islam. He thought that the Muslims who were already there were not purified enough. So he established himself. Yeah. For good or for ill, he was able to bring stability in northern Nigeria. Yeah. Now, after 100 years, the British came and conquered the Sultanate or the Caliphate. It was a Caliphate. Yeah. Now, the Sokoto Caliphate that was conquered was compensated or pacified with a Sultanate. So the British said, you can't be called a Caliph. It's too big. Call yourself Sultanate and appoint your emirs. So Emir of Kanu, Emir of Katsina, Emir of whatever. Yeah. Now, this thing that was done, even the British recognized that these people are powerful, so they did not interfere in their leadership. So they allowed them to govern northern Nigeria while they took care of the overall security and stuff like that. Yeah. Now, when elected politicians started in 1960, after Nigeria gained independence, it was the elected politicians that disrupted this order in northern Nigeria. So elected politicians who were supposed to recognize that traditional institution that was very vital for the stability of northern Nigeria did not do that. Because they thought that now we are in charge. Yeah. And we are more powerful than the Sultan. And in the 80s, if you remember, I wasn't there in Nigeria, but I've read it, that in the 80s, General Babangida actually sacked one sultan and he placed his friend in charge of Sokoto. The people of northern Nigeria rose up and there was massive protest.
Okay.
It took Sani Abacha to restore that order. Now, even with that, still many of the politicians were disrupting the powers of these emirs and the sultan. Not long ago, 2 years ago or a year ago, the governor of Kano sacked the emir of Kano.
Yeah.
And the emir of Kano is a very Western educated elite.
Yeah.
Who could have modernized northern Nigeria and Kano.
Who people like me love so much.
One astute economist who had the opportunity to be who chose not to do politics but become the emir.
Yeah.
Not because he took it out of anything, but he was actually entitled to it. His blood has it. Now you sack him because you are the governor.
Yeah. And I've heard him talk about it.
Yes, if bandits are taking over northern Nigeria, let me tell you, those bandits respect the traditional authorities and elected authorities. And northern Nigeria should be given a special treatment. And stability will return there. I have a full article on this.
Okay.
And it's on my LinkedIn page. I have a full article with pictures of Danfodio and what have you, all there. That northern Nigeria should be treated differently. And somebody may ask, in the South, chiefs were also had their powers taken. So why are you not talking about the South, but you're talking about the North? This is the reason. In the South, Christianity was what came, and then traditional beliefs or animism was pushed aside.
Well, so not in my village.
Yes, but even in Ghana, in Ghana, it's very common to find the traditional priest also in church.
Yeah.
Yes. And what I'm trying to say is that in terms of the chiefs, they have their customs. Yeah. But largely, southern Nigeria is a Christian region.
Yeah, and we have adopted the Western political institution. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. But in northern Nigeria, it's different. So I proposed in my article that Nigeria should have a special constitution. And despite the Sharia law that has been given them, it's not enough. It's not enough. The authorities of the Sultan and that of the Emir should be immune to political interference.
Okay.
Because Boko Haram will be more comfortable.
Okay.
The fact that Boko Haram will be more comfortable negotiating with the emirs than they will do same with the elected officials. They don't trust the elected officials.
Yeah.
And somebody may ask, why would you say that Boko Haram should negotiate? Government should negotiate with Boko Haram. They are terrorists. They are extremists. And I'll ask that person, why did the United States negotiate with the Taliban?
Yeah. Okay.
At a point, you come to the realization that the people you call terrorists are also human who may have gone astray in your context.
Okay.
So you sit them down, you find solution so that my brother here, whenever you go back to Nigeria, you can travel like the way you used to travel.
Yeah.
Because unlike Bin Laden, who never came from the United States, unlike Zawahiri, who was from Egypt and was not from the United States, the Boko Haram people, majority of them have their family members also in the military.
Yeah.
They have family members also in the intelligence services. They have their family members also among the crowd. And the last time I told someone that, look, the use of drones, military drones, to target terrorists, Africa should never copy that. It will not help us. Whenever the US uses drones in other territories, they are creating enemies far away from their land.
Yeah.
When you use drone in Nigeria, you are creating enemies within Nigeria.
In your backyard. Your backyard.
For hundreds of years, you have enemies within. Because if I grow up knowing that you killed my father, maybe my father was not even a terrorist, it was just collateral damage. You shot somebody and then my father died in the process.
Yeah.
I will be willing to do anything to bring you down when I hear that. Because I come back from school and I heard that my mother, my father, and all my siblings have been killed because one terrorist was hanging around them. What I will do is that I have nothing to lose. And in fact, I will be willing to offer myself and explode myself and bomb somewhere so that I also go.
Wow.
That is how we must handle terrorism. Terrorism is a matter of the mind and not of the heart. You can't use your heart to fight terrorism. You have to use your mind. And I think where the terrorists seem to be ahead of governments are that the governments are using their heart to fight, while the terrorists are using their heads.
Wow, it's a difficult situation.
Yes. And one interesting thing is this: these terrorists have a way of operating. They like to operate along borders.
Yeah. So who is going to catch them?
That is it. Your other colleague who is supposed to cooperate with you will stop you from chasing them.
Yeah.
And so when you come to the border between Mali and Burkina Faso, they are very much there. When you take any map and you dial in places in Africa where terrorists are operating, you see it. They are all along the borders. Boko Haram itself is the Chad, Nigeria, Cameroon, the border. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you go to between the border between Mali and Niger, you find them there. Between Burkina and Niger, you find them there. And recently, they've entered the border between Burkina Faso and Togo. And they've killed a number of Togolese soldiers recently.
Wow.
So it is a sad situation, my brother.
Yeah. It's a big one. And it's something we need to continue discussing.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I hope security agencies are ready to do all it takes: discussion, negotiation, everything. Because what is going on in Nigeria, I can only talk about Nigeria because that's what I know. What is going on in Nigeria cannot be sustained for another 4 years.
Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa now.
The whole country will implode if this thing continues for another few years. I mean, it's so bad, And
when that happens in Nigeria, Ghana is not safe.
Yeah,
I'm worried.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. If these things happen to Nigeria and the whole country implodes, the whole of Africa is not safe.
Yeah, not safe.
That's it. And then the caliphate that they are looking for will happen.
Yeah, it will happen. It will happen.
So we need to
very bad.
With it.
It should not happen. It should not happen. We must fight it. We must fight it, and fighting doesn't mean using guns or bombs. We must find every way possible to stop that.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.